Calling all around the world. Mumbo jumbo, stir up the gumbo. Calling all around the world. Get it, start with a roux, that's me and you. Add the Holy Trinity, that's rhythm, chords, and melody. Come on now, add your spice. Tell your story, very nice. Calling all around the world. Stir that vocal gumbo now. Calling all stir it up, stir it up. Get it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Maytree. The Simpsons. I mean, that was epic. Now, where did you find them, Janis Siegel?
Can you see me?
I can.
Because I lost. I'm coming back. Here I come.
Here she is.
Here I come.
Well, while she's coming back to us, welcome to Vocal Gumbo, episode number 17.
What the heck happened? All right, here we go.
Are you with us?
I'm with you. Here I am.
Welcome. Welcome, Janis.
Maytree is a 5-person a cappella group from South Korea. And in 2021, they started doing these YouTube videos in which they did sound effects that are used in, like the sound effects used in mobile phones and computer systems and computer games. They just blew me away. And it was Kai Kitamura who helped me find them. So they submitted that for us. And they are going to this. Is there an echo? I'm hearing a tremendous echo. I don't know why. Maybe I'll take my headphones off.
Try that.
I'll try that. Okay.
Try that.
Is that?
Nope, that's worse. Plug them back in.
Okay, I'm
plugging back in. Well, while Janis is getting settled back in, welcome back to virtual land. We are, we're a little rusty. The last virtual show we did was in July, and we have since been sort of getting our mojo and the material back together again. And this show is just going to be an extraordinary show. And so, as you can see, Maytree set a tone for us tonight of just masterful singing and comedic wit that goes into so much of what they're doing. I mean, they really just are. And mastery, yes,
is insane, and the beatboxing is awesome. And everything's okay now with sound, but they're planning to release a record of their original material and tour the U.S. next year. So be on the lookout. Maytree, it's one word, Maytree, And if you haven't Googled them yet to hear them do iPhone ringtones, please do that immediately. Well, maybe not immediately, but after this show.
Yes.
Certainly.
Yes. And we were even thinking, geez, maybe they should do a revamp of our opening jingle.
We're going to work on that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
There's a collaboration, I think.
It's in the future.
Anyway, they're fabulous. And here we are back in the virtual world. It was so great to see you last night, though, for our happy hour.
We had a nice happy hour. We dished the dirt with the great Mark Kibble, who is just so charming and so talented. And we got to hear about all the things that are going on in his life with Take Six and outside, and the projects that he's working on with Steve Kahn. Hello.
Oh.
And so we're so happy that we were able to wrangle him into doing a collaboration with us. So you are going to be in for a treat further in the show, hearing that particular collaboration. And then what else have you been doing, Janis? You're back out on the road with your partners.
We are slowly gearing up because there's still a lot of confusion and anxiety out there, I think, especially with people traveling in Europe. So, yeah. There's every day there's something new, some new regulation. So we just found out, in order to play in Norway, you have to be quarantined for 10 days, which is completely impractical, as you know. Can't do it. But yes, we've been did gigs at MIM in Phoenix and in Poway, and we're gearing up to the Blue Note here in New York City for a nice run, November 23rd through 28th. So that's cool.
Giving thanks. Basically that weekend is Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That whole week is Thanksgiving.
That's
so I'm sure the city will be kind of full of festive, and the lights are going to start showing up magically in the city. And
here comes the Christmas music.
Here comes the Christmas tree.
And you were in Germany. Yes.
I went a couple times to back and forth to Germany with the New York Voices in October, and it was so nice to to be together again and to sing together and just be on the stage, and singing for an audience, which you just forget what that feels like, and actually that it really is energy that you share with an audience. And so it was good for the soul. Honestly, it was really good for the soul.
Yes. Well, slowly things are coming back. Again, Lauren and I were talking last night. There's nothing like the immediacy of the interaction with your colleagues, with your partners, with the instrumentalists, with the audience. You can't recreate that in another way.
But I feel like we do pretty well with creating some energy and connectivity with Vocal Gumbo. And I certainly, you and I have also talked about how this has been both sort of a life-saving shot in the arm, if you will, to gather here. And when we created Vocal Gumbo, it was as much for us as it was for trying to stay connected to our community that we were all separated from, and then hopefully provide some food and sustenance for you, our viewers. And now we're sort of, as you can tell, it's been since July since we did our last virtual show. And I think as we're finding not just us going back to work, but our colleagues going back to work,
right,
that it's more difficult to gather a show every month. And so we're going to move it toward more of a quarterly show. So we hope you'll still continue to stick around and want to see what we come up with, because we've already got new collaborations out there, working on them or reaching out. And so we have lots of goals for it, but I think it's just going to take more time.
It is, but we're going to gather things just like squirrels gathering nuts for the winter. We're going to squirrel away our collaborations and get people when we can.
Yeah.
And then we're going to present that to you.
But one of the good things about spacing it out so that we're not doing them every month, is we actually have time to tinker with things just a little bit more, because our shows are on the monthly basis, we were like, okay, quick, that's good, that's fine, go, roll tape, and we were, there were still probably 10 more steps if we'd had the time to like finesse things or do things. And so it was nice to have the time on the 2 collaborations that we have in store for you, that we were able to do some special things and sort of up the production value and take our time to get things a little bit more buttoned up.
That is very true.
So ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. No.
What's wrong with this?
Oh, hello.
What do you have there?
I made myself a fancy cocktail.
Yes, of course
with,
you did.
Yuzu, lemongrass, kaffir lime, and vodka.
And I understand that you brought that same beverage back to Lori Green, who is hosting Behind the Curtain. Ooh. So cheers to you, Lori. And I just got a little straight up Malbec on this chilly winter. Feels like a winter night in my house.
It got cold. I had to close the windows. Actually, it got cold finally. Yay. Little bit of business to get out of the way. Please don't forget to like our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And if you want any Vocal Gumbo swag, which make great holiday gifts for your loved ones, we have masks, we have aprons, we have Lauren Kinhan masks, we have corkscrews, we have coffee cups, and we have all kinds of other swag at Tag You're It, TAGURIT, or get it through our website.
And we also have flasks, don't we, Janis?
We have so many flasks.
What are we going to do with those flasks?
Why don't we give them out to the first 10 people that commented, perhaps? Or what do you think?
Well, I think what we're hoping to do.
I just want to drink this.
I know. Well, you drink this. First of all, this show, we decided we'd make it free, as we had originally put it out there in the stratosphere early on. And if you are happy with what you're seeing and hearing, you can make a contribution to the show, which of course helps us throw our honorariums to the musicians and the production team, and also make donations to the organizations that we like to donate to, which in this case will be Society of Singers. And they do a tremendous amount of work helping singers and artists in need in times of trouble, with extreme courtesy and dignity, as always, at the forefront of their mantra. And so 10% of what we gather tonight will be donated to Society of Singers. And so an easy way for you to make a donation is to go to paypal.me/Vocal Gumbo tickets. It's a long word, but it's streaming right there on the screen. So feel free to, at any point in the show, make a donation, make a contribution, throw a tip in the jar, whatever you want to call it. We're doing this to just feel connected, and we hope you enjoy your night tonight. So
we have some incredible people listening. Emily Braden is in the house.
Emily,
got Cecily Gardner. We got Catherine Russell in the house. What?
So welcome to the show. And if anything, what we were going to propose is the first 10 people that make a donation, or whatever you want to call it, you're going to receive a flask, which you can put anything in it, folks. I mean, we're not proposing that actually
medicine.
You'd put this in it, but we would welcome that. So on your mark, get set, go. And why don't we start the show, Janis? Do you think
let's release the hounds?
Woo!
All right, here we go. Our first guest is no stranger to Vocal Gumbo or Vocal Mania. She was part of the very first show we did, actually.
Yep.
She's one of our favorite singers and collaborators and educators, a wonderful educator. She's the head of the jazz vocal department at Oberlin College. But she is currently on the road with Steely Dan.
Whatever.
Who cares? Steely Dan. and along with Catherine Russell and Carolyn Lenhart. So
Amazing.
we are so pleased to present her and her gorgeous, brilliant husband, pianist Andy Milne, doing this fabulous Horace Silver tune that I never heard. It's crazy. I never heard this tune. Did you? Were you aware of it?
I was not familiar with it either. And I think that's what's always so much fun, is to sort of stump the curators, right? Vocal Gumbo. And it's really nice. So we love it when we're people bring fresh gems out of the standard songbook. And and it's perfectly presented with her beautiful voice and her beautiful eyes. Here's a Horace Silver song entitled Pretty Eyes, Tanya Hall and Andy Milne.
Oh, those pretty eyes have hypnotized so many girls, it's true. Now that I am wise, I know just what those pretty eyes can do. I don't even have a chance. They can put me in a trance. All I'm thinking about's romance. I surrender, dear, my end is near, but I don't fear, you see. 'Cause my pretty eyes has promised to give all his love to me. All it takes is just one glance, then my heart begins to dance. All I'm thinking about's romance. Romance. Say a little, say a No more running round, my heart is bound to follow just one path. Me and pretty eyes are synchronized, it's working out at last. All it takes is just one glance, then my heart begins to dance. All I'm thinking about's romance, romance.
Mm. Oh, that was just luscious.
Pretty Eyes.
Ooh, Laura Bramble. That was called Pretty Eyes. That's the answer to your question. Horace Silver wrote the words and the music, I believe. Yeah. So good. Whew.
So good. And so, it was so nice to listen to Latonya's improvisation. I was listening, thinking it's so connected to the voice and where she was coming from, and just felt like a continuation of the mood and sensibility, and didn't need to be show offy. It just was just so elegantly presented. So
see, this is why I love you. This is why I love you. I was thinking, I wish our NYU students were listening to that, to see how she masterfully wove that. I mean, there wasn't a lot of notes. It wasn't a lot of melisma. It was just a connected story all the way through. Yeah.
Perfection. Yeah. And then to just listen to their connection too. I mean,
yes,
man, it's so wonderful to hear duos and the fact that it affords you an opportunity to really deeply just dance with one another, and they're just so connected in that way. So thank you so much, Latonya and Andy.
Thank you. Luscious. We have another guy who we adore coming up. Oh my God. This guy also has been a regular at Vocal Mania. He was our special guest. We made him dinner a couple times. We just love him to death. And he is like a one-man band. I mean, extraordinary musician.
No question about it. And a wonderful composer. I think he made his mark in that way, that he is as curious about moving the story along, right? And the songbook along. And so, and he's so prolific.
What a writer too. I mean, just a great writer. I recently saw him at City Winery.
So how was that?
Well, it was spectacular. And I just got an infusion of him.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And he's, but he released a record just before the pandemic hit.
That's right.
Which we were lucky enough to record one of the songs with him. And then it seemed like what was unfortunate for anybody that had a record coming out, just before the pandemic hit, is all the brakes were put on, right? So there was no way to get out and hustle the record. And
I felt bad for people that had just made a record. That was terrible.
Because you're like, now what do we do?
Right.
Okay. But what he did is tighten up his home studio and continue to write. And he's got a new record out called Synthesis. So, whatever, he's just moving that train forward.
Yes. So we are premiering this piece, which I heard him perform live. It's tells of an encounter that Raul had backstage with someone he idolized, like some music icon that he was he was fanboying all over the place about.
Yeah.
And he started gushing at this man, and the man said, "Don't be a silly man." So Raul, of course, turned that into vocal gold and wrote this song called "Don't Be a Silly Man."
I really like this song, though, as everybody takes this song in. Imagine, though, there is a beauty in what he throws out there for consideration, because in a way, when you become uber star, an uber person, sort of nobody knows how to just talk to you about regularly.
Exactly right.
About, like, what's your day like, or what have you been thinking about, or like what shows you watching, or like do you like fishing, or like, I don't know, how do you take your coffee, whatever, the normal mundane everyday kind of conversation that we have with one another and we take for granted, sometimes is sort of removed from your life, because like people adore you, and so they don't know how to just go, do you want to have fries with that shake, whatever.
Right. Well, you meet someone who changed your life, and it's hard to get into that, like that headspace if they're a normal person, but of course they are a person, just, you know, like everybody else.
So he mined that
Yeah.
feeling and that notion. And so here's a beautiful song out of the songbook and mind and artistry of Raul Midón, playing guitar and singing. He's a one-man band, as Janis said. This is Don't Be a Silly Man.
Hello, everybody. It's Raul Midón. I'd like to do a song from my album Synthesis. The song is called Don't Be a Silly Man. I was sitting on my expectation, waiting for some validation. I was far away from home, so far from my home, waiting in a crowded room, talking with some people whom I'd met before. They were traveling musicians just like me, and I was basking in the comfort of their company. Then there came a knock upon the door, and a terror of my profession walked into the room. People I was talking to, they couldn't leave too soon. And though I should know better, I was starstruck and babbled like a loon. I said, it's awfully nice to meet you. It's an honor and a pleasure. You're a national treasure, and I hope that we can make some future plans. And he turned to me and said, don't be a silly man. Don't be a silly man. He said, I don't need your worship or your praise. It's a real conversation that I crave. It's a real. Well, we talked about our virtues and our crimes. We talked about the nature of being tenuous time, and how our constant search for immortality will always be denied. I said, it's awfully nice to meet you. It's an honor and a pleasure, and you're a national treasure, and I hope that we can make some future plans. Then he turned to me and said, don't be a silly man. Don't be a silly man. He said, I don't need your worship or your praise. It's a real conversation that I crave. It's a real conversation that I crave. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul.
Thank you. You know, I don't miss anything when he's playing, you know, because he's playing drums basically, and then he hitting bass notes too, and then soloing and playing rhythm and that incredible voice. So he's
It's all there.
amazing. It's all there. Yeah.
It's all there. And it's a beautiful story.
It is a beautiful story. I don't think any song that I know of has addressed that feeling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I was really touched by that piece. And speaking of enjoying it, we've already got 5 flasks we're giving away.
Yes, 2. Go ahead.
Kate Greenfield.
Yes.
Kolawole Oyelesi. That's my guess. I'm sorry.
That's cool.
Then there's Kirk Miller. I can get that one right. Daniel Kramer. Who
Cantor.
Cantor Daniel Kramer.
What's up, Cantor?
Mazel's in the house. And my sister-in-law, Doreen Anditch. Thank you, Doreen. We miss you already. Doreen was here on Long Island for a couple of weeks, and we miss you already. So love ya.
How fabulous. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you'll be getting that flask momentarily. And you can fill it with anything you want.
That's right.
Or nothing.
Yes. You know, she's a runner, so she put some water in there, you know. But we're so grateful to everybody that's making donations. It's easy to do it. Go to paypal.me/Vocal Gumbo tickets. And you can, you know, let us know what you think about the show. Certainly Raul Midón.
Daniel Kramer wants to put Manischewitz in his flask.
Oh, no.
Don't do it. Please don't.
Because you'll never get it out.
I'm sorry.
That's hysterical. But I dare anybody to come up with what should be going into that flask. Go ahead in the comments. I'd like to see that as we introduce this next guest.
Well, this is a biggie right here. I mean, this collaboration took months, and this is a perfect example of what you were talking about before. I mean, we could have rushed through it, but it really took months because this artist was on the road and he was doing things and we were doing things, and we wanted to make it a little more extravagant, and we wanted special guests, and, you know, so this took a while, but we finally did it.
The other thing that we talked about last night with Mark Kibble, of whom we are speaking, is he said, you know, it took him a minute to figure out how to write for the 3 of us. I mean, he writes for Take 6 and he can do it with his eyes closed because he knows who he's writing for. He knows the voices so intimately that he knows, I'm going to have Joey do this. I'm sending Claude up there, and I'm going to do this, and then we're going to go here. And you know, but this is a new thing to write for Janis and I and Mark to do something together. And so he, you know, had to ruminate on just the whole process and figure it out. And so I think I'm reminded of the phrase, you know, art takes time, and it just does, you know. So this is a perfect example of giving it some time. So what song did we decide to do, Janis, which you recommended? And I was like, yes,
I did. And everybody sort of sparked when I mentioned this song, but I wanted to think of like a positive, uplifting song, you know, that I thought, because that Take 6 does such an incredible job with Roof Garden, for instance.
Exactly.
You know, and I know how much they love El Giro. I thought it would be very cool to recommend one of these songs. And then Mark was all in, you know, and then he started percolating. And then we decided it might be way cool to involve one of the original writers of the tune, who I know. And
because you know everybody.
I know many people, but I happen to know Jay Graydon pretty well because he produced 2 of our most fabulous albums. It was so great to work with him, and he's such an incredible guitarist. And so he wrote this tune, and he played the iconic guitar riff that moves the song along rhythmically, and he was in. So it really took a long time to get this going. Then we involved our friend Addison Frei on Fender Rhodes, who killed it, you know, along with Mark, who played most of the track. And then once that was done, we thought, well, what are we going to do for a video? So we thought, wouldn't it be fun to like pay homage to the original video? So we thought, well, animation, who do we know that can do animation? And our bass player, our beloved Boris Kozlov's son, who is in high school, is studying art, drawing and animation. So we corralled him in between his midterms and his schoolwork. And we came up with, and with Emma Sundvik came up with this video for the tune. And let me just say that completing this whole recipe for gumbo is Tris Curlis, who mixed the whole thing. But this is our version of Morning.
Come on.
Oh, oh, oh. Morning, Mr. Radio. Morning, little Cheerio. Morning, Sister Oreo. Did I tell you everything is fine? Yeah. In my mind. Morning, Mr. Shoeshine Man, shining bright and white and tan.
My baby said he loves me, and did I tell you that everything here is just fine? Yeah, ooh, in my mind.
Excuse me if I say,
my heart has found its way. Searching high and low, 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 low. And now at last I know.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Morning, Mr. Golden Gate.
I should walk, but I can't wait. I can't wait to set it straight.
I was shaking, but now I'm making it fine. Yeah. Oh, here in my mind,
My heart will soar with love that's rare and real. My smiling face will feel every cloud, and the higher still.
beyond the blue until I know I can, like any man, reach out my hand, and touch the face of God.
just freaking love this.
I have a smile. I have a
just love it.
smile because it's just
Ah,
such a sweet song. Lalo Schifrin, and let's see who. No, that was not Lalo. That was Al Jarreau, Jay Graydon, and David Foster, composers of that song. And
that's pretty good.
yeah,
That's pretty good. But I just love involving Saba. I think that was Lori's idea, actually, to get Saba involved. And oh my goodness, what a wonderful job he did.
Wonderful job. And again, thank you so much to Mark for just being willing to, to do this with us and find time and make such a really special and unique thing for Vocal Gumbo. We hope you all really enjoyed it as much as we did. God.
I mean, Lauren and I were talking a little technically with Mark last night about his process for writing vocal arrangements, because he doesn't write them. Right. He hears everything in his head kind of at once. And I don't know, it's sort of seamless the way the leads blend into the backgrounds.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's more than 3 voices in a way,
Right. Yeah. And I think both Janis and I were, when we got the tracks and we had to replace one of the Mark tracks, right? He sang all the tracks, and then you have to sort of, replace it. And you have to hope that you are going to not just replace it, but rise to the occasion and really do well, and also make him proud, make him happy, honor his arrangement. So there's all of that respect and that goes into doing your work. And this was a particularly fun and a little nervous. I was a little nervous sending my track in.
I think everyone was a little nervous.
Yeah.
I think thank you, Catherine Russell. That's a compliment coming from you. Thank you, Catherine Russell. But I mean, as a vocal arranger, it's like, school me, Mark Kibble.
Absolutely.
So beautiful.
And there is beauty in learning music by ear, right? And not looking at the notes. So you really do, it skips the step of the analytical mind.
Exactly right.
Which is really beautiful, because it goes right to the heart chakra and the body chakra. And
this is why I love you.
Yes, I love you too, girlfriend. And the throat chakra. So we're really just so in the belly of the music. And that's why, I think that's why also Take 6 is such an extraordinary artist and artistic vision, because they're just, they embody, they feel, they live, they breathe, they eat the music, and they treat each of their lines like melodies. And you can really, that's what it takes to be able to do what they do.
But I think you nailed it when you say they skip a step. It's that intellectual part of the learning process.
Yeah.
So they go directly to the part that remembers melodies and yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, Mark Kibble. We adore you.
We adore you.
And thank you, Jay Graydon, for adding your spice to the gumbo
and letting us play with your song and allowing us to to expand on it a bit. And while still also coming and joining us, it's really special, and we're really happy you joined us. And wow, that last shiny smile from him at the end of the piece is my favorite.
I know, me too. We had to put that in. We had to put that in. I will share with you though that I mean he gave us full videos of him playing the entire piece too, because there's a bottom part and a top part in the guitar. But in the middle, when Addison solos, he stops and drinks a beer in the video. I was almost tempted to put that in, but we didn't.
I want that back in. We should take a poll of all of the listeners here that we might, because you might want to just see him just chillaxing on, and I want to know what he's drinking now. I want to know what the beer was.
Well, I think it was a Buckler, honestly, which was a non-alcoholic beverage.
Okay. All right. But nonetheless, grateful to everybody.
Grateful.
And,
thank you.
That was super fun. And so let's jump over the pond, if you will.
Oh my God, what can follow that? Well, this lady can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I want all the singers out there to, if you're not hip to this lady, check it out. Fasten your seatbelts. Lauren, you discovered. I mean,
she's been around a long time. The thing that we all find, we all get lazy in our listening, right? And we sort of have our favorites, and sometimes we don't make the mistake. We make the mistake of not investigating and go hunting. And, you have to do your own hunting to find the things that turn you on. That's really, I find that's true for me. And so when we were gathering, trying to, again, do a deep dive in women in music, when we were doing our Sirius Radio Women in Music series, I just found my way to her through different channels of exploration. And I was like, wait a minute. Like she was not who I was looking for, but I ended up finding her, and I was like, how did I not know about this woman, Liane Carroll in London? Because most people, there's going to be a lot of people that go, oh, I'm hip to her, or the London set that's going to be like, yes, she is an important artist in our community. So, but whatever, we find people when we find them. I mean,
I'm sure that if anyone's listening from the UK, it's pretty late over there right now, but
yeah,
you would probably know of her. But
yes,
we were not aware of her. We were just knocked out by her musicality and her timbre, the timbre of her voice, and her phrasing and her energy. And she's also playing piano. So there's that.
She swings really hard. And yes, her timbre is killer. And she's got she sings with a full throated sound. There is just like, here it is, deal with me. Right.
Why don't we let people hear her then? See if they're knocked out as like we were. This tune also, I had never heard it. What the hell? It was first recorded by Peggy Lee, apparently, in 1964. But I had never heard it. This is a gorgeous tune by Lalo Schifrin, and Jean Lees is the lyricist. The Right to Love.
My love and I ask little of the world, the right to sigh together in the rain, and walk with heads up in the sun, and share our joy and our pain. And yet they say that we were wrong, that we haven't a right to our love, that this love is shameful to see, and yet we cherish our love. And so we go our solitary way, indifferent to the cold, unfriendly stares, indifferent to the whispered talk, but we don't care, not at all. Can be together, and we find our consolation in each other's arms. Ooh, the sweet look of wonder the very precious right to love.
Oh, is she like, ah?
I want to meet her.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I just want to sit with her, hear her stories, and I want to hear a set of music from her, doing exactly what she does. There's so much story in her voice. And you kind of feel like, it's like hearing Carmen McRae, where you just, you feel like there's that like directness of sound and weight. I don't know. I get a little bit of that vibe from her, but she's got her own thing. It's just magnificent.
Totally. I hear what you're saying though about Carmen McRae, because Carmen was in some of her singing, she's declarative. She almost speaks the lyric,
Yeah.
forcefully.
And because she's a pianist, the other thing that's really wonderful about vocalists that are accompanying themselves is you're thinking in two ways, and so you don't feel like you have to sing through all the phrases, because you're also filling through the phrases through the piano. And so sometimes it's really nice to hear people that accompany themselves, because their use of space is interesting vocally, but they're also still filling the spaces with the piano. So and you get what I'm saying? It's
yes.
Okay.
The piano is an extension of their phrasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
it's really groovy to hear people like that. So we hope you're hip to her, and you're going to go and grab a couple of CDs from her. I think and any of these artists tonight are worth investing in. Yeah, and investigating. Yes. And we're worth investigating and investing in. So if you still are interested in throwing a tip jar in, we've got paypal.me/Vocal Gumbo tickets, and you can send a message about whether or not you're loving the show, and what we should be preparing for the next one. We're looking forward to it.
I have some ideas. I do.
But what we always do, no matter what, is we feature a young artist, because we are such big proponents of not only singing the praises of our singer community in all its diversity and glory, but that we also raise up the up and coming artists and give them an opportunity to be a part of the mix. And oftentimes, of course, they steal the show, because
always. I would say always.
They always steal the show. and we're totally okay with that, as well they should. And so this young woman is a student of Tanya Hall's School of Oberlin, and she's a recent graduate. And the other interesting anecdote is this wonderful singer, Georgia Heers. She was at our New York Voices Vocal Jazz Camp one summer. So I feel like when she poked me and said, I was there, and I was like, that's crazy, because I was looking at you going, wait a minute, I know you. So what a remarkable artist, and she's accompanied by a bassist. So again, why don't you speak to some of love this.
There's a tradition of jazz singers just singing with bass, because it's freeing. There's much more freedom harmonically, I think, between the singer and the bass player alone. Sheila Jordan certainly, developed that. Many great jazz singers just chose one instrument, and the bass is a very interesting choice, because basically you just have the roots,
right?
Pretty much to rely on, and you have to sort of fill in the rest of the harmonic structure in your head. So, woo!
And you have to really be comfortable in it. Like that is really one of those things where it's one thing to be accompanied just by piano or just by guitar, let's say, but to have the accompanist be the bass, you have to also be a very confident musician in your own right.
Yes.
To be able to love that space and handle it with ease. And I think she does it very comfortably. And of course, again, what a luscious sound.
This is a standard written by Harry Warren and
Al Dubin.
Al Dubin, correct. September in the Rain. So we'd like to present with Jervis Miles on bass. This is Georgia Heers.
Wow.
Beautiful.
what command, right?
Yeah, it's like tightrope walking, really. It's really risky.
Yeah, but you can hear her outlining all the chords. She knows exactly where she is.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. In fact, at some point she started to sort of do some fingering. So I'm curious to know if she actually plays an instrument, and if she's checking in to that other part of you that might be connected to note connection.
Mm-hmm.
But really, really nice. And her tone quality reminds us a little bit of like Cecile McLaurin-Salvant, just a little bit of that creamy, dreamy sound that she's got going there. Really nice.
Yeah. Somebody commented that they love the homage in her style, but it's still her own thing.
Right.
Yeah,
and isn't that nice to be homing in on something that's distinctly you at such a young age? It's great. I think it speaks to perhaps the wonderful direction she's getting at Oberlin, from maybe Latonya, and the schooling there. The program is really wonderful and serious. It's a serious program. And, I'm really looking forward to seeing where Georgia's career takes her.
Yeah. Thank you, Georgia and Jervis. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. It might be Gervis. I don't know. But it was beautiful playing, whatever. So thank you so much. We have one more incredible piece for you. Lauren, take it away.
Well, I mean, this really started with Lori Green this past summer, because she was working with the Women's Business Collective, and they were looking for just some music that could be interspersed in a moment in what's oftentimes a lot of speaking engagements and inspirational collections of women gathered to share information and perhaps just create community. And so we were sort of given the task of maybe writing a song that might speak to that subject matter. And it was so fun to figure out a song that didn't sound like a jingle or an industrial commercial, right? But something that feels very uplifting. And so I wrote this song, and then I got your approval. You were like, keep going, and I was like, okay, I'll keep going here. And then I threw it to my just one of my favorite musicians, Martin Bejerano, down in Florida. He's on faculty at University of Miami, and just an accomplished solo artist, composer, educator, touring musician. And I sent it to him because they really wanted this sort of Afro-Cuban feeling about the song. That was maybe one of the directives. So I wrote sort of a song that could live in that world. And then I threw it to my Cuban friend down in Miami and said, have your way with it. Make a piano track for me, and if you would. And he sent me back this fully realized production with all the the MIDI of just of bass and percussion. And it was just like, wow, okay. I guess all we need to do now is have Janis jump in here, and we got to get busy with making the track. So we had a lot of fun recording the song. And then, of course, given the time that we had our good friend Dave Darlington do the mix, and his ears and genius is, as you'll hear, is appreciated. And I thought I did another sort of call to action. We thought it would be fun to see women in their work environment, or just the spirit of what working women. And so I just put it out there, said who wants to sing along on the chorus. And so we got a handful of women from all walks of life, and I put together this video edit. And so it's a song entitled Right on Time, because we are right on time all the time. And we hope you really enjoy it. We want to thank once again Martin Bejerano for all of his gifts. And Janis, what should we do? Let's just fire it away.
Let's fire it up. Let's fire it up right on time.
At the beginning, staircases and all, following the footsteps, running faster, racing in the moment. Somebody call my name. Can we get together and rattle the gilded cage? 'Cause we were born to rise and shine. Yeah, we were born not before, but right on time, right on time, right on time. Right on time, right on time. We are right on time, right on time. Right on time.
Changing for the moment, never mind the proof. She's moving sideways.
All those highways. How's she gonna get there? Somebody raise the roof. Fables and folk tales, they rarely tell the whole truth. That we were born to rise and shine. Yeah, we were born not before, but right on time. Right on time, right on time. We are right on time, right on time. Yes, we are right on time, right on time. We're gonna tell you now, right on time. Everybody wants to have the secret. We get up, we get down, we're not messing around. No, no. Watching ivory towers fall to pieces. There's a will, there's a way, there's a price that we pay on the back before together we get more and more and more and more. We're born to rise and shine. Yeah, we were born not before, but right on time. Right on time, right on time. Right on time. Right on time, right on time. We are right on time, right on time. We are right on time. Start at the beginning, staircases and all, following the footsteps up. Running faster, racing in the moon. Somebody call my name. Can we get together and rattle the gilded cage? 'Cause we were born, rise and shine. Yeah, we were born not before, but right on time. Right on time, right on time. Right on time, right on time, right on time. We are right on time, right on time. We are right on time, right on time, right on time. Right on time, right on time, right on time. Right on time, 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 right on time. Right on.
Oh man, so good, Lauren.
So much fun.
Wow. That was so much fun. The
And
video,
we actually did that song at our recent Birdland gig.
we did.
Which
so,
that was so fun to bring back. Well, actually, to do a song that was so recently written, but it was such a great festive piece to have other people join in. So it was just it's already had a couple of debuts.
It has, and it will continue to have debuts.
Yeah,
It's really, really great. It should be on your next album, if I may say.
I think so too. I think so too.
Really, really great.
Thank you, Martin and Dave, and thank you all the women that contribute their beautiful energy and spirit to the song, representing the industries that you're working in, and doing it.
Fantastic, Lauren, and thanks, Lori, for creating the opportunity.
The impetus, there's always a poke and an idea that sometimes you need to have something, suggested before these songs get rassled out of your brain. So it was really nice to have that happen. So thank you, Lori Green, and thank you all of you who joined us. Thank you, Martin. You rocked it. Joe Spector, that was fantastic.
I know him.
Yeah, and Joe, who's my brother-in-law, married to my sister Kate. Joe and Martin went to high school together. So they're a bunch of rascals
that
have been changing the world. He has a little bit of a rat pack of a group of fellas that have done a lot of really great things. But thank you, Martin. And thank you, all of you, for joining us. We hope you've put a little something in the tip jar if you want to. It's streaming down below, by all means. And the other thing we wanted to ask you, since we're making this sort of free and available for people, what would be super terrific if you shared this with your friends. Tell them to come back to vocalgumbo.com throughout the weekend. We're going to leave it up.
Yes.
And we'd rather as many people can see the show is what we'd really hope that can happen. So tell your friends to check the show out.
Yeah, I mean, I just got a text from my friend Jamie Bernstein, who just got home and is scrolling it from the beginning. So you can do that.
You
right
can
now.
That's awesome.
It's really great.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. And we'd like to thank, now that we've said thank yous, we'd like to thank, huge thanks to our Patreon community, to everyone, all the Vocal Gumbo artists who participated in this show, the engineers, the video editors, Dave Darlington and Tris Curlis. Wow, thank you so much for your time and expertise. Catherine McKeever and Taggart, thank you. Thank you so much. Our friends at Audio Technica, thank you.
Thank you. How about Emma Sundvik doing the video?
Absolutely.
It's super great. And of course, our good friend Lori Green back there pulling all the levers. And we look forward to the next show. We will let you know when that's going to be. So if you're curious about what's happening with us, check in at our site, vocalgumbo.com, like our pages, do all those groovy things. Sign up for our email list. You'll get direct notes from us, and let us know if you've got some ideas.
Somebody did make a suggestion, so we'll follow up on that. Absolutely.
And they also said the beer has to go back in the video. So.
I know they did. I mean, that seems to be a unanimous decision. So
that's hysterical. Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. It's so Graydon. It's so Jay Graydon.
Well, thank you so much from the island of Long and from the island of Manhattan. Vocal Gumbo episode number 17 has been launched. We thank you all for joining us. We hope you enjoyed yourselves, and we look forward to the next one. So stay healthy.
Thank you.
Get your vaccinations, get your boosters, wear your masks, help the world get back to a healthy place. And we're all gonna, be grateful for that.
Thank you. We love you. Stay tuned with us. Stay in touch with us. Thank you.
See you guys.
Calling all around the world. Mumbo jumbo, stir up the gumbo. Calling all around the world. Get it. Start with a roux, that's me and you. Add the Holy Trinity. That's rhythm, chords, and melody. Come on now, add your spice. Tell your story, very nice. Calling all around the world. Stir that
Vocal Gumbo now.
Stir it up, stir it up.